have a nice little project for you guys. This one is going to take probably, a few hours to complete. So if you're wanting to do this project, make sure you set aside, a good part of your day to get this finished. So what we're going to be doing is some candy jars, and we're going to be decorating them or styling them in the fashion of the retro candy shop sort of signage. So what you're going to need, first of all, is just some of these types of jars that have the clamp style closures. You can get these, I think, at Walmart in a set of 3, and I think it's about $10 for that. I got mine from IKEA just because it ended up being just a little bit cheaper to buy them separately. And so what you'll need is the small one, the medium-sized one, and then this one that's quite a bit larger. So you'll have 3 different sizes. I'll be leaving the pricing and things like that in the description of my video, as well as on my blog. So how we're going to decorate these is we're going to create a sour, sweet, and salty combination. So what I've done is I've gotten this adhesive stencil roll, which is just a blank roll, and you could do quite a lot of stencils with this one roll. I found this at Michael's, and again, I'll leave the information and prices in the description. But it's really great because you have a little grid on the back, so you can cut it to whatever size you like and just make so many different options for stencils. And it comes in this packaging here. So it's Martha Stewart brand product. So yes, you want to get yourself a roll like this or something similar to this if you can find something less expensive. But I think that it's worth it to buy this because you can get a lot of stenciling of this one roll. So what I did is I created my own stencils in Photoshop, and then I put them on my iPad, and then I took my stencil sheet and I just put it over top and made sure the brightness on my iPad was as bright as it could be, and traced around it. If you don't have an iPad or a tablet or something similar to that, if you have a printer, you can just print them out and do the same thing. Just make sure you have a light source underneath so that it makes it easier for you to be able to see through your stencil to trace it. And then once you have your stencils traced, you're going to take your X-Acto knife. Make sure you've got a very sharp blade on it. It'll make it much easier for cutting out these little sections. So you just very carefully, like I said, cut out your stencil. So I've already gone ahead and made all 3 of the ones that I'm going to need. I just have to stick these onto my jar, and then I'm ready to start painting them, which I will show you guys a little bit closer. Also, if you guys are looking to create the jars the same way I did, I will leave the template for these stencils on my blog as well, so you can head over there and feel free to download those to your own computer. I give you permission to use that stencil for yourselves, so don't worry about that. So as I mentioned, I'm just going to get my stencils stuck onto my jars, and then we can start painting them. Alright, so I've got my stencils attached to my jars now. It might be difficult to see, but mine are on there. It can be a little bit of a process to get your stencil stuck on here, just because your jar is slightly rounded and your stencils obviously are flat, so you have to just finesse it a little bit, and you'll get them on there. It's not too bad, but I just wanted to mention that. So once you have your stencil stuck onto your jar, you just want to take your fingernail or something hard and plastic and go around the edges to make sure it's really good and sealed, because you don't want your paint to seep underneath your stencil and sort of ruin your design. So once you've reached this stage, I'm just going to remove your lid. you can see here, this is the back side of your clasp. You're just going to squeeze these two pieces here. So just squeeze one side at a time like this. And then that's going to release the lid from the metal part, and then you can just remove it like this. So we're going to deal with the lid separately, so we're just going to put that aside for now. So once you have your lid separated from your jar, you're just about ready to paint, but what you want to do first is you need to clean the spots where you're going to paint with just a little bit of rubbing alcohol and a Q-tip. Don't soak it too much because again you don't want the alcohol to seep in underneath your stencil. Then you're just going to go into the areas where your paint is going to be applied. Okay, so now mine is all nice and clean, and if you have any stickers or anything like that on the bottoms of your jar, you want to remove those because those aren't going to stand up very well when you bake them. That could cause you an issue. So just remove any stickers from your jar, and then we're going to start painting it. So for painting it, as I said, we're going for a sort of retro candy shop look. So I've chosen these two colors here. I've got this pink raspberry ice, and then this here sort of blue turquoise color in pool. So in case you guys want to do it exactly the way that I'm doing it, these are the colors that I've chosen. So I've got just a little bit of each of these colors onto just a little palette. And then I'm going to be using brushes, just these little foam brushes, to apply it to my jar. I prefer this size brush here only because you can roll it around your index finger and make it nice and round so that you don't get any edges or anything like that when you're painting. So as I said, just roll it around your index finger and just take a little bit of paint at a time, and then we're going to do these curved lines above and below the words in blue, and then the pink is going to be the letters. We're just going to want to dab the paint on carefully, not to get it into your words, of course, and outside of your stencil. And you just want to dab it, and dabbing it or stifling it into the stencil will make it so that you're less likely to be pushing your paint up into the stencil if you do end up with any air bubbles or anything like that around the edges in the end. So just do as I'm doing here. Then once you get the paint applied to the entire spot that you're painting, then you can just go back and quickly stipple to make the texture more even. Okay, so now that you've got your stencil painted, you're going to need to let this dry for an hour. Once it's dried for an hour, I would recommend just blow drying it on a warm setting or a hot setting for about 5 minutes, just to start the curing process, so that the paint will stick to the glass a little bit better. And the only reason I'm recommending that is from doing it myself, I've noticed that pulling the stencil away, the paint wants to lift with the stencil. So starting the curing process on that will help the paint to begin the adhesion to the glass. And then if you're still having trouble removing the stencil without the paint trying to come up with it, just take your X-Acto knife and go around the edges just quickly, and then just very carefully peel it off. Once you've peeled off your stencil, you're going to then bake this in the oven. and that will completely cure the paint so that it becomes very durable and dishwasher safe in the top rack of your dishwasher, which is really great. While you're waiting for the paint to dry on your jars, you can move on to doing the lids, which I'm going to show you now. Now for the lids, you just want to set aside the metal rim part, and then we're just going to clean this up with a bit of alcohol as well before we get started. Now once your lid is dry from the alcohol, you're just going to use your frog tape or masking tape. Frog tape is a better option, but use what you have or what's least expensive. And then we're just going to take strips of the tape and tape the entire lid. So once you have your lid all taped, you're going to take your ruler. You're going to start marking lines about 3/8 of an inch wide. So then once you've got 2 sets of your little marks, we're going to connect those with your ruler, creating stripes. Once you've got your stripes drawn, you're then going to cut along the lines with your X-Acto knife, and then you're going to remove every second stripe. So once you have every second stripe cut out, then we're just going to go with the blue and stipple the paint onto the lid as well. So for the baking instructions, what you're going to do is put all 3 of your jars and lids in the oven, and I would just recommend sitting them on the oven rack, positioned on the lowest possible position. Make sure that you're placing these in a cold oven. Set your oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit and allow your oven to come to temperature. Once your oven is preheated to 350 degrees, then you're going to begin timing it for 30 minutes. After the 30 minutes, you're just going to turn your oven off, leave your jars in there, and allow your oven to cool down while your jars are still in there. Once your jars are cooled, then the curing process is completely finished. Alright, so now that I've got my jars and my lids out of the oven, I just need to give them a quick little wash, and I can attach my lids back onto my jars and apply the airtight seal as well. And then once I'm finished that, I'm ready to fill them with my sweet, salty, and sour goodies. This is the best part. So I hope you guys like this tutorial. I hope you guys will make some of your own. If you're looking to do something a little more simple rather than doing the stencils, you can do something freehand if you feel up to it. If not, as I said, I'll be leaving the templates for these stencils on my blog, so you can just save those templates to your computer and use them for your project. If you guys did like this video, don't forget to click the little thumbs up below, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel to keep up with when I'm posting all of my new videos and projects. Please go follow me on my blog, thecreativeglow.blogspot.com. I'm having lots of fun over there and posting lots of things that I may not be making videos of. So I'd love to see you guys over there, and as well you can find me in other places all over the internet, Facebook, Twitter, Pinterest. I just signed up for Instagram, so I'm starting to get going with that. I'll be leaving all of the info and links in the description of this video so you guys can find me in all of those places. I guess that's it for this video. Most importantly, have an awesome day, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye!